Well, good evening, everyone, again, and welcome to another Golden Hour webinar. We have here today Greg Halloway, which is our expert in coins, and also our teacher. He will be teaching us today about several strategies for investing in sovereigns. With no further review, Greg, please take us to another exciting lesson tonight.
Thank you very much, and again, I appreciate the opportunity to teach all of you on the line. It's a pleasure doing it. I really do look forward to these webinars. Previously, on the first few parts of this series, I have been giving some background on the gold sovereign. It's the only world coin in existence. What do I mean by that? Coins are only made by the minting country within the territory of that country. The sovereign is unique among the world in that it was minted globally. It was minted on 5 continents. You see, Great Britain was the world's largest empire in history, and as it built its empire, it needed to conduct commerce in its colonies. So the sovereign was the coinage unit of Great Britain. It's now called the pound, of course, but the sovereign was the coinage unit of Great Britain in time gone past. It was made for over 500 years, starting first in 1489. And the coin was used and needed to be minted in all the colonies to allow the country to facilitate doing business. It is an exciting coin, one with a great many varieties. Variety is the spice of life, but it's also the key ingredient to making money. That is because coin series with the greatest numbers of varieties are those that are of the greatest interest to collectors. The more varieties, the more interested they are. Varieties are exciting to collectors and what draws them in. That's the reason why the Great Britain sovereign is one of the world's most well-collected, most popularly collected, most heavily invested coin on earth. Now, despite the fact that it's got all these amazing attributes going for it, it's incredibly undervalued. How did that happen? You see, through a series of innovative modernizations that took place in the United States starting in the 1970s, the American coin collecting field underwent a number of technological advances that changed it from just a sleepy hobby to a modern business today that's heavily involved by both collectors and investors. You can actually buy and sell rare coins in America sight unseen over computers. These technological advances allowed for the marketplace in the United States to understand rarity, and with the concept of understanding rarity, allowed it to properly value rarity. For instance, when I first got into collecting coins, an 1879 half dollar was considered to be a major rarity since only 5,000 were made. And an 1853 half dollar, which had 11 million made, was considered to be fairly common. Since the technological advances in the United States, the 1879 half dollar has been exposed to be relatively common despite its low mintage. Most of the 5,000 minted still exist. Whereas the 1853, even though 11 million were minted, there are hardly any known. So the marketplace has flip-flopped, and now the 1853 is worth far more than the 1879, switching a historic pattern that had existed for many years prior. This is what I mean by a sophisticated marketplace in the United States. Rarity is now fully understood, and with this understanding becomes a properly valued marketplace. The 1853 half dollar is now properly valued in the marketplace. These technological breakthroughs have never been developed and used in Europe. That's why I came here a number of years ago to take advantage of the opportunity by building the Golden Art Collection. So I am focusing on the Great Britain sovereign as the key element or main priority of the gold in our collection because of the fact that I've just mentioned of being the only global coin, the most popular gold coin on Earth, the most varieties of every coin series on Earth, the longest running coin series on Earth, and the fact that they're extremely undervalued. To put this into perspective, I set the world record for the first $1 million coin in 1990. Today, that item is worth $20 million. So you could have one coin for $20 million, or you could have a complete set of Great Britain sovereigns covering every corner of the globe, minted on 5 continents, all varieties, over 1,000 coins, many of them unique, meaning one of a kind, for the same amount of money. Which would you rather have? Now, as the person who set the world record for the first $1 million coin and handled this piece that's now worth $20 million, I can tell you emphatically that I'd rather have the series of Great Britain sovereigns. I understand value and rarity. The sovereign is extremely undervalued. So I have now switched directions in my advice to our clients to focus on highly undervalued items. Do I believe that the $20 million coin is now overpriced? No, I don't. I think it's going to go even higher yet. But I think the upside with the coins we're talking about tonight is greater even still. So that's the background on what we've been talking about. Now let's go into tonight's edition of the sovereign is the world coin. Now, the sovereign is the world's biggest coin market. People like big. That can take the form of a big coin physically in size, or it can take the form of a big coin market. The English sovereign is not the biggest coin on Earth. It's a decent size. It's a nice looking coin. It's the size of a U.S. quarter. It has about 1/4 of an ounce of gold in it, so it's a nice, respectable coin size. So it's a nice size. It's not the biggest coin on Earth, but it's a nice size. But what makes it desirable is that it's the biggest coin market on Earth. More people collect Great Britain gold sovereigns than any other gold coin on Earth, and that's because of its longevity. It's a fabulous series, and one that I wish and trust that all of you could possibly take advantage of adding to your investment portfolio. The key date strategy is what I focus on. Now, why is that important? Okay, when collectors assemble sets, they want the major rarities. They want the showstoppers. They want the coins that are not easily available. We can always get the common years. We can always get the ones that were made in abundance, but the rare dates are the ones we're looking for. Some English sovereigns were made to the tune of as many as 10, 15 million coins for a single year. So they're quite common and only worth the bullion gold price. But others are exceedingly rare to the point where there may only be one known to exist. We want those rarities. That's what we're focusing on. I'm looking for that needle in a haystack. That's why I'm willing to drive 1,500 miles to a coin show and find nothing. And by the way, folks, that's not the first time that's happened. That's a regular part of treasure hunting, is expecting that we're going to hit dry holes. So the common dates are always available, so there's no pressure for us to run out and fill our collection with all the common years. Collectors don't even care. They are okay with a set that only has the rare years in them. That's what's of interest to them, because the common years just aren't exciting. people want things that get them to really get a rush. And it's the same type of feeling when someone goes out and buys a Van Gogh or a Picasso for $100 million. It's that type of a rush when collectors find the great rarities. So I advise all of our friends to save up for the best. Even if you can only afford one great coin, that's better than a room full of junk. So save up, buy the absolute best, and marshal your resources so that you can get the best possible item you can find. And then I will give you my time and effort, even if I have to go to 100 shows and find nothing. I won't give up until I find the best for you. Now, there is potential to work with us for those that are considering something of extreme rarity. If it is beyond a bit your budget, we will try to accommodate you and work on some type of payment plan. So if this is something that is stopping you for consideration, please call and consult with Tom or myself, and we'll work through how we can orchestrate a plan that suits you so that you can buy that mega rarity dream. Now, I also want to make it clear that we don't have an inventory or back warehouse full of these things. Yes, I found a fabulous collection of major rarities, but there's only 8 coins in it. Okay, so that's what I call a real trophy find, is finding 8 coins. So there's a lot more than 8 people on the line here tonight, folks. So obviously not everybody can find them. We'll do our best to hunt for you and work through a payment plan that suits you. Now, the Golden Art set strategy is ultimately we'd like to have a complete set of everything from the first one made in 1489 all the way through to the present time. The Royal Mint is still making the Great Britain sovereign today only for ceremonial purposes, and you can buy a presentation piece on their website for somewhere around 40% over the gold price. So those are still interesting and make a part of the collection, even the current year ones. So ultimately, we'd like to put together a complete set of everything, but our priority is to focus on the mega rarities now. Now I'm going to take you through history so you can get to see some of the great sovereigns that are already a part of the Golden Art collection. As I now go through these slides, folks, you will be looking at actual coins that have been purchased for the Golden Art collection. These are great, exciting pieces, and we'll start with the oldest one first. This one made from 1560 to 61, as you can see there. This is a fabulous handmade coin showing Queen Elizabeth there. You can see her sitting on her throne. This is a large coin. The Great Britain sovereign started off first as a very large coin. It's the size of a silver dollar, if any of you know what that is in diameter. And it's beautiful. It has the queen sitting there on the throne with all of her royal devices, the scepter, the shields on the back that showcase the coat of arms. Our good friend Robert Esposito did a whole seminar on the meaning of these shields. If you haven't heard that, you should listen to that, because it's a wonderful description of all the great shields and what these mean. And then, of course, all the lettering around the Great Britain sovereign, too, tells a story as well. Now, this coin is in spectacular condition. This is about as good as you can possibly hope for something from the Middle Ages. You can see here that it has been graded by PCGS as AU55. So those of you who are not familiar with these terminologies, I'll explain it. Coins are graded on a point scale system from 1 through 70. 70 is the best, 1 is the worst. This coin, and the letters that describe it in advance, AU stands for almost uncirculated. This means that this coin has seen only a trace amount of circulation from the time it left the mint. This is fantastic condition for this coin. The best one known to exist in the world is only slightly better. There are none that are grade of 70 from this time frame, not even 65. The best one known to exist is 60 or 61. So this is very nearly the best and falls in the category of something that is fabulous for the Golden Art collection. I wish I could find another one. But the rarity of these is such that they rarely ever come on the market. To put this into perspective, the value of this coin is approximately $65,000. Now, you could buy this for $65,000, or you could buy a 2009 Lincoln penny for even more money than that, $100,000, because it was a rare variety of a Lincoln penny. I think I'd rather have a real piece of history, something from a recognizable great leader like Queen Elizabeth, somebody who's where they've actually made movies about her, rather than a Lincoln penny. So you can see the incredible disconnect between the United States and the great European rarities in their value. How this could be worth the same as a penny is beyond big. That's why I have switched gears now to focus on the great rarities of Europe. And this is one of the best middle-aged prized handmade coins in existence. You know, this was made, to those of you who are not familiar with it, by hand by hammer. You see, an artisan carved out this design in reverse relief into 2 pieces of metal. One piece of metal is for the obverse, or front of the coin. One piece of metal for the reverse, or back of the coin. The piece of metal this is carved into is called a die. That's D-I-E, just like you might think it's spelled. And the metal die is, one for each side, is held in place. Then the blank piece of metal that is prepared to be turned into a coin is put between the 2 dies, and then a tradesman would hit the die with a mallet type sledgehammer, and then out would pop the design coin we see here. A crude technology, but nonetheless it produced fabulous works of art. These works of art were truly important, so much so that in a proper rendering by the artisan might get his head chopped off. So the craftsmen who worked on these works of art considered their job to be very important. Literally, they lose their head over them. The great Golden Art trophies from the Middle Ages are everyone's favorite, and they are seriously undervalued. So whenever I find one of these, I buy one, but sadly, I haven't found one in quite a while. From Queen Elizabeth, this one also almost uncirculated, not quite as good as the previous one, a grade of AU50, but also still nonetheless a great and beautiful work of art. Now, I forgot to point out, if you notice underneath the word Great Britain, you'll see this number. This is a catalog reference. All these coins are cataloged because I mentioned earlier that the exciting reason why the sovereign is Desire Worldwide is because of the fact of its variety. It's got the greatest variety of any coin series on Earth. So these are two what look like virtually identical sovereigns, but they're different. The design is slightly different. This first one is catalog reference number 2512. The next one is catalog reference 2529. So the designs are slightly different. Now, here we have another Elizabeth I, and here you see the interchangeability of the name sovereign or pound. It's gone back and forth through the years. This coin also is a very high grade, a grade of AU 58. Now, I was just offered one of these to give you an example where virtually the entire design was worn off. You could barely even tell what it was. And it was for sale, and that's the only thing I found at the show I went to. I should have put the picture up to show you, folks, what is typically being offered to me. Matter of fact, before the end of the seminar, I'll shoot that picture over to Pete. Maybe he can put it up for you so you can see what is typically being offered to me. But this is a shows Queen Elizabeth in a different image. Here she's not sitting on the throne, but instead shows just a bust of her from the shoulders up. And there on the back, you see the famous coat of arms, and with the ER on it, that's Elizabeth Regina, which means Elizabeth rules. Now, to any of you who have paid any attention to British pageantry, Queen Elizabeth II just celebrated her 60th anniversary on the throne. And there were flags all over London showing that exact same shield that you see there with the ER on both sides. If you visit London, you'll notice that coat of arms and the ER on all of the sentries that guard Buckingham Palace. Of course, that's one of the big events of going to London, is seeing the change of the guard with their giant fur hats, and they all have that shield and coat of arms on it. So Elizabeth is a very important part of English history, to say the least, and here started the precedents that we have today of pageantry. This is another English Elizabeth I pound, and also a beautiful coin in almost uncirculated condition, slightly different variety. The hammer coins can get a little bit wavy. Unlike a later machine-made coin, the early hammer coins are very thin. They're about as thick as a piece of cardboard, so they're very thin, and therefore they can end up with slight crinkles or rolls in them, because the gold was thin enough, and when it's rolled out and then hit with the hammer, that it frequently got crinkles in it. Now, this particular one has you can probably notice it, has a bit of a crinkle going from diagonally going up through the bust of Queen Elizabeth up to about 1 o'clock on a clock analysis on the obverse there. Yeah, but still, it's a good coin and a high-grade piece, far better than the types of things that I encounter, which I will show you later in this webinar. Now, the sovereign's name is changed to the guinea. The sovereigns had a number of names: the guinea, the sovereign, the pound, and here we have the first guinea from 1685. The name Guinea came from the fact that Great Britain's territory in Africa, where it found a lot of gold, was Guinea. So that's where all this gold was taken from, brought back to Great Britain, and made into coins in a very politically incorrect way of doing things. You'll notice that the king, which in this case is James II, bust is perched atop an African elephant, and on top of the African elephant is a crown. The African elephant represents the fact that Great Britain dominated Africa. It actually set up a company. That's how Great Britain did business throughout its empire, but organized things through companies. So Great Britain set up the Royal African Company to mine gold and bring slaves to other parts of the colonies. It's been said that London would have never become the financial and economic powerhouse that it did if it was not for African gold. So this imagery is designed to show that Great Britain dominates Africa by perching the bust of King Charles II, or King James II, over the African elephant, showing the English crown over the elephant. So we cringe at that today, but that's the way Great Britain thought hundreds of years ago. And you see, before there was electronic media, before there was the internet, before there was television, before there was radio, before there were newspapers, before there was even the printed word, there were coins. Coins were the first medium of advertising in the world. And if you wanted to get across your message, you used coinage. So it goes with propaganda as well. Great Britain was the king of propaganda and pushing its ego on the rest of the world. And what better way to do that than to show we're the baddest guys on the planet, and we control Africa, and we're making our coins here in London with the African gold that we took from there. This particular piece is the finest known of this great rarity. There's only a handful known to exist. This is a fabulous piece of the Golden Art collection. It's worth about $50,000 to put it in perspective, a bargain compared to something from that rarity from the United States. Here is another guinea from 1686. This coin has seen a slight amount of wear. That's why it's a graded AU 55. You can see here the wear beginning to show up on two places, on the face and on the top part of the hairline. You see, the luster is starting to wear off. Even in this image, you can see the difference between the lack of luster here that I'm outlining on the face versus out here in the field where it's shinier. Pete, can you confirm that people can see my cursor? I just want to make certain that we can see that here, because when wear shows up on a coin, it shows up on the high points first, and that's why it's shaded a little differently from just to the side here. You can see just to the side in the recesses, it still has the full original luster.
Yes, Greg, they can see it.
Okay, good. Yeah, I wanted to make certain that we could do a little teaching. Now, keep this image in your mind for a moment, and now let's go back to the one graded Mint State 63. You can see that this has pretty much even luster going from rim to rim, top to bottom, rim to rim, pretty much even luster all the way across, even on the high points, whereas this one you can see it's starting to show a little touch of wear on the high points. So that's what it means by almost uncirculated. Now here we have another elephant and castle from James II from 1688. This is also a great rarity where only a few are known to exist. Perhaps 5 or 10 known to exist. We don't have an exact count, of course, but there's very few known to exist. Again, a major rarity with the elephant and castle hallmark underneath the bust, which is the most famous hallmark of all Great Britain coins. This is a great coin in brand new mint condition. That's the strive of the goal for the Gold in our collection, is to buy the best mint condition coins that we can possibly find. And I might add to that, folks, if we buy a great coin for you and it turns out that there is a better one in existence and it comes on the market, then rest assured we'll buy the better one so that we can offer you the opportunity to trade up. Now, that doesn't mean it'll be for free, because obviously the higher the grade, the more valuable the coins are, but we'll always give those who have a great piece the opportunity to upgrade should one come on the market in the future that is better. The plan, of course, always is to build the gold in our collection so it is the best, and therefore I want to focus on the great rarities at all times. Now, here we're moving on to William and Mary, the dual rulers, king and queen together. Very unusual time in history, and the William and Mary coins are extremely popular. They were only made for a few years. This is a beautiful brand new mint condition 1693 guinea, and one of my favorites of the gold in our collection. Only a small number of these are known to exist as well. Here is another guinea that we have from the following year, from 1694. Now, this is a really good picture, so you can see how the luster just jumps out at you for a brand new coin over 300 years old. That is an amazing find. Now, this picture here, I'll go back again, is not as good a picture on the obverse here. This is the obverse. But the reverse, you can see, is got an abundance of mint luster from side to side. Now, mint luster, by the way, is the definition that's given to the shine that a coin has. And that shine cannot be recreated after the fact. Once a coin has shown wear, it's impossible to bring the luster back again. It's like pouring paint remover over the Mona Lisa, and so to the point where the image disappears, and then thinking that you can somehow do something to bring it back. It's impossible. Once wear has taken the luster off, that's it, it's gone. It cannot be brought back again. And so that's the beauty of focusing on the best. We only want the best mega rarities, and I'm trying to assemble this year at a time. That's why I have one from 1693 and this one from 1694. We want to try to get one for each year in the best possible conditions known to exist. Now we move on to Queen Anne. This particular piece is a beautiful mint condition guinea from 1702. This is extremely rare. There's only 5 or 6 known to exist. So it's an extremely rare piece, and I'm grateful that we have this as a part of the gold in our collection. So very, very rare piece, and one that collectors love to focus on from this time period. Next, we move on to 1713. This is the finest known 18th century guinea of any year. This is an incredible gem. Now, the point scale goes to 70, folks, but I want to explain to you that there are no 70s in existence, or either 69s or 68s or even 67s from this time frame. 65 is the highest grade known to exist for any year in the 1700s. So this, for Guinea, this is the finest one known of this entire era. There are later ones that are known to exist that are a higher grade, but for the Queen Anne era, this is the finest known to exist. So this is our strategy, what our focus is, and that's why I don't stop hunting until I find you the best. This coin just jumps out at you with intense luster from rim to rim. You can really see it on the back here, how it's just blazing with this shiny regional luster. It's hard to imagine this coin is 300 years old and has been maintained in this kind of condition. This is truly a fabulous work of art, folks. I wish I could find more of them, but we can't. So I'm just grateful that we did find this one trophy piece for the Golden Art collection. Now we may move on to King George I, who has the unique distinction of being the only English king in history to have not spoken English. He actually was living in Germany at the time that the opportunity came to fill the deceased king's shoes by taking over ruling of Great Britain. Despite that, he never learned how to speak English. Pretty amazing. Up until his deathbed, he still never learned to speak English. But this is still a great piece, very rare, very valuable. And a lot of the coins I've been showing you, folks, are not that expensive. This coin is worth about $10,000, to put it in perspective. Now, this one is really incredible condition. It's from 1726. It's a grade of mint state 64. For this era, that is as fine as existed. You see, I mentioned a moment ago, this grading scale goes to 70, but it's only been in modern times that technology has been improved to the point where 70 was even possible. You see, 70 means perfect under magnification. You see, coins were not made, though, to be handled with men and women with white gloves as they carefully pluck them from the assembly line as they're being made. If you went to a mint today, you'd see there's nobody doing that. They just dump them into great big hoppers so they're banging around, and then fill up canvas bags full of them and just throw them on the waiting trucks, and then off they go to banks to be used in commerce. If you want something rare like what you're looking at, you have to do the rather extreme thing that I have to do, and that is comb the world hunting. I have a team of several experts that are continually traveling the globe hunting for the major rarities. They take us to all corners of the earth hunting. And this particular piece is a fabulous rarity. It is the finest one known. There's only a few known to exist, and to put it in perspective, this coin is a bargain from this time frame at its low value of about $40,000. Anything American made anything close to that time frame is worth many, many multiples of that. Now, here we have a guinea from 1727. Now we're up to a King George II, and it is a beautiful piece and magnificent mint condition. You get to see a feel here for the kind of condition of coins that are forming the Golden Art collection. These great trophy pieces were made for artistic as well as commercial reasons, folks. They were not made merely to facilitate commerce. They were made as a testament to the king or the queen. They were designed to be art. And that's why we have the privilege of being able to handle a few of these in spectacular condition all these hundreds of years later. Okay, Pete, can you take over control now? I'm going to wrap this up by sending you this one picture, and then we'll open it up to questions. Take over control because I need to go back and dig out the photo to send it to you.
Okay, give me just a second here to take controls. And thank you again. It's been an exciting lesson tonight. And I hope everyone have enjoyed this session. Let me get the webinar announcements and breaks and all that before I take over.
No, actually do that after you take over, because it'll take me a while to get this to you.
Okay.
And folks, if you have any questions, hold on waiting that for a moment, because we'll have to type that in once Pete has this switched over. So bear with us just for a moment, and we'll continue talking here. Let me know, Pete, when that's been accomplished.
Okay, great. I have control now. And as you all can see, we have webinar breaks coming up very soon. It's incredible. We have Thanksgiving around the corner already. And that will be November 26th and 27th. As you all can notice, it's not the week of the Thanksgiving itself, but it's actually the week after, Monday and Tuesday, that we're not going to have our webinars. Also, December 24th and 25th, Christmas Eve and Day, and December 31st and January 1st. Let me add something to it. I know Tom, which is not here today, he's doing a webinar in Dallas, Texas, as much as we speak right now. He mentioned it last night in the webinar last night. We're going to be closed. The office will be closed the last week of December. So it will be December from the 24th, which is a Monday, all the way to January 1st will be closed. So if you guys have any questions, anything like that, the phone will be open, and we will get calls and things like that, but the office itself will be closed. The announcements, as you all know, Mondays at 8 p.m. it's our financial education webinars. On Tuesdays, as you can see, it's another exciting webinar that we had tonight. It's our advanced gold webinar with our coin expert, Greg Halloway. That's our number, and if you need recordings, it's actually at the webinars at bellsouth.net. Also there you can see the recordings at the Christian Financial Concepts. It's a free membership, so you can take advantage of that, and I will tell you something about also. I've been updating the web page. So in case you didn't get our invitation to the webinar, or by mistake you have deleted the invitation from the webinar, you can go to the christianfinancialconcepts.com, and in the first page right there on the home page, you will have two buttons. It's one for every day, meaning one for Monday and one for Tuesday, depending on the webinar that you want to join in. You just click on it, and it will take you directly to the webinar. So I've been upgrading that web page so it will be more user-friendly, in other words. So just in case you lose that information, you always can go turn out to the christianfinancialconcept.com and log in from there. One thing that I asked this at the beginning of this webinar is actually to sign in, and it's because we do take attendance. And we take attendance because at the end of the month, and every month, we will have a winner, which actually is going to get a $20 gold certificate, valued at $200. So the person that I have been with us almost in every webinar and an assistant in all webinars, that will be the winner. To tell you the truth, at this time, I don't know who would that be. I don't know when they're actually going to do that, Mr. Barrett, but I guess when he returns back from his trip, he will do that, and he will announce it on the next time. Greg, I haven't seen anything from you yet, but it's not a problem. We still have next Tuesday to show that you wanted to show us. So in case you can do that. We go ahead and do the question if you like.
Okay, yeah, I emailed it, so I thought maybe it would be there by now, but if not, let's open up for questions and see what any of you have to say.
Okay, excellent. I have a question posted earlier when you were doing a lesson here. It says, which coin did you bought and now it's worth $20 million?
Oh, I'm talking about the King of Siam set. I broke the world record. It was the first $1 million item. It actually went for more than that. The whole set went for $3.25 million, but today it's worth $25 million. So it's actually worth more than 20 million. So the centerpiece coin of it is probably worth 20 million, and the rest of the set, the balance of it.
Okay, that's a Kino Cyan collection set. Excellent. I have another question here, and that's asking which coin from the coins that you show it tonight or you share it tonight, how many are available for purchase?
Well, the coins I showed tonight, none of them are available. Those are actually been already purchased for the Golden Art collection. I'm merely taking you through a visual to show you what we've accomplished already. And next week we'll be discussing some other pieces. So I'm just merely taking you through a visual of what we've bought so far so that you can begin to understand what it is that I look for.
Okay, we have another question here. This is a new person on the line, I believe. He says, so someone who is not experienced in coins and would like to start, how much will I need for a real good starter coin?
He would be best served by having a one-on-one conversation with us, discuss budgets. But we have bought them for as little as a few $1,000s. You're not going to get a major rarity at that price level up to hundreds of thousands. So I try to do the best possible to work within your budget. So the best thing to do is to do this in reverse and tell me what sort of budget can you work with, and then I'll explain what the options are. So there's something for everyone, but the extremist rarities where there's only one known will get up into the couple $100,000 and higher range.
Okay, great. I guess I don't have any. Okay, yes, I do have another question here. The question for you, Greg, it's when you said these coins showing tonight are part of the Golden Art collection, does that mean they are not available for purchase?
That is correct. They've already been purchased by individuals that may be listening tonight. They've already been purchased. So that's what you have to understand. They've already been purchased by folks just like you on the line tonight, and they're ones that are owned presently by our clients now.
Okay. And the second part of that question, I know, Greg, you're probably not equipped right now with this information, but just probably a raw idea of how much it's going to be. They're asking, what's the value of a 1927 MS-63 Guinea?
That's not the correct year, so please let me say that again.
They're looking for a value for a 1727 MS-63 Guinea.
Oh, okay. That is an extremely rare piece in the best possible condition. So off the top of my head, I'm going to say it's going to be in the $20,000 to $25,000 price range, possibly $30,000. I would have to get to my notes and double check that somewhere in that price range.
Okay, and they're also asking for a 1702 Queen and MS-62.
Yeah, yes, that's one that we actually profiled tonight as a great rarity, and on that particular piece, I threw out an estimated value that is very high also. But to be specific, we will have to consult my notes, because I did this without going into the details of the values of each piece, but it is also going to be somewhere in the same $25,000, $30,000 price range.
Okay, not a problem. So if you would like us to do that kind of work, or Greg could do the kind of work, just let us know, and we'll be more than happy to do that, get that information for you. Greg, I don't see anybody else posting. I just want to wait a couple of seconds here. Anything that you want to say?
Yes, I would like to invite you to know that I offer the opportunity to have one-on-one consultation with anyone who would like to do so, even yet tonight. So if that's something you'd like to do, please type that in, call and peek with your phone number, and I'll call you right back, or we can do that later in the week. The great treasures that I found that I mentioned earlier this evening will not last long, because as hard as it is to find them, we've developed a pretty good base of people that are hunting along with me. So if that's something of interest, please let me know. We can discuss on a one-on-one basis more of your goals.
Okay, I have, I guess someone just joined us late here, and I know you went over this at the beginning, but they were actually asking how you feel about Obama's election may or may not affect the value of the gold.
Yes, actually, I did address that at the beginning of the seminar, and it's definitely had an impact. Gold will go up. It will go up quite a bit more. So it's definitely had an impact.
Excellent. Well, if I don't have any more questions here, it's already top of the hour. And I know we're on time, but we have Greg here that he's willing to talk to you. And if you have any questions for this lesson or for any other questions that you may have, it's not every day that you have an expert on the line that you can talk with them. So if not, well, have a good night. Thank you for being here with us tonight, and God bless you all.
God bless you. Thank you all for listening.